What's up? Welcome back to another video. I'm going to apologize up front. Guys, I ran out of Battlefield 6 beta footage. I know there's Battlefield 2042 gameplay in the video. I know it's bad, right? I don't want to look at it either. But I also don't want to reuse clips. But maybe I can reuse the clips that I got right at the beginning of the beta, and you guys can let me know if you would be okay with that, because maybe you guys wouldn't even remember the clips and they would seem new to you. So that's how we're going to start off this video. But the actual topic of the video is we're going to talk about DICE basically just killing the use of Cronus on console, teaming up with PlayStation and Microsoft. We got a bunch of new features and changes that weren't necessarily detailed coming from the Cadwoman reported by Battlefield Bulletin. We have some statements from David Serland and some important additions and bug fixes. So we'll be going over all of that stuff, but for those of you that watched my last video, you would know that I extended an invitation to anybody that wants to debate me on the movement topics, and I really emphasized people that kind of just hate me and really heavily disagree with me. I found somebody I'm going to debate, so if you want to see that video, and if you want to follow Battlefield 6, got a bunch of cool videos coming up. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let's start going over all this stuff. I'll start it off by going over a gigantic W. This is coming from a Push Square article reported by Battlefield Bulletin, or summarized by Battlefield Bulletin. They say, despite the issue of cheating is significantly more concentrated on PC than on consoles, DICE hasn't forgotten about Cronus users. That's why they've also partnered with PlayStation and Microsoft to combat cheating on consoles. Boom! Like, literally get fucked. Everybody knows about the PC cheating problem, but do me a favor, go to Amazon and look at how many Cronus Zens got sold in the past month. It will sound off alarm bells as to just how many people on console are using stuff like this. The article goes on to state in an interview that Battlefield 6 will feature its own level of macro detection on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S. Quote, yes, it's unfortunate that cheating has become a problem within the console space, especially with Cronus Zen machines and everything. So we've partnered with PlayStation and both Microsoft in this regard to kind of do detection. We've actually had our own level of macro detection and everything. Macro detection is a technique used to identify the malicious use of automated sequences of commands, scripts, and repetitive tasks, which have also led PC players to enable Secure Boot. So if players are doing Rapid with Javelin on PC side, that's why we've enabled Secure Boot to help us combat the never-ending cheating problem. And we're also aware of the console cheater issue as well, and that's why we're going to be taking cheating very, very seriously. So that's it, just a gigantic W right off the bat. I hope this actually does work. This is just a flat positive to the game. And as a PC player, whenever crossplay games started getting popular, the more I played them, the more I thought in the back of my mind, you know, it's not necessarily obvious, but I wonder how many people I've died to so far that are using Cronus. Certainly something to think about. Now, onto a bunch of new features and changes for Battlefield 6 that will be available at the launch of the game. All of these changes are credited to the Cadwoman for finding them, so thank you to the Cadwoman. I'm just going to report on them in my channel because perhaps some of you have not heard of any of this stuff, and there's a lot of important things here. A super important aspect of the Engineer class is they have this thing called the Engineer Vehicle Supply Crate, and it not only resupplies ammunition, but it speeds up the equipment cooldowns for nearby friendly vehicles. And if that already wasn't good enough, this gadget also automatically repairs friendly vehicles. That is an insane engineer vehicle synergy. Now, another thing the Cadwoman mentioned is on Engineer, you can no longer equip two launchers at the same time. You have to choose between anti-tank or anti-air, which is of course the way it should be. This change was never in question. I always expected them to do this, but it's nice to have official confirmation. Now onto some synergies between the Recon drone and mortars. For those of you that don't know, yes, Battlefield 6 will be bringing back the mortar gadget and the Recon drone. The Recon's drone has thermal vision by default, and the Recon drone's EMP blast can be used to destroy enemy gadgets and even kill people that are using mortars by electrocuting them off of the mortar. Guys, if I can just request something, can we come up with a term for electrocuting mortar players? Like, it has to be a single word term. I don't know. You guys cook in the comment section. Some important information about the recon drone, though. The lock-on animation is not very intuitive, apparently, according to Catwoman, and it has very low battery life, which means it probably has very limited range. And, of course, you cannot use any of the lock-on features or EMP features against vehicles, which is a super important piece of information. Now on to some more quick-fire things that are still extremely important with this list. Air vehicles have below radar. For those of you that don't know what below radar is, say a helicopter is hovering 10 meters above the ground, you will not be able to lock onto that vehicle with a stinger. They have to basically have more altitude for you to lock onto them. In terms of gunplay, apparently tap firing has been drastically improved for launch, which is great. You always want to have burst firing / tap firing your fully automatic weapons feel extremely dialed in. There's apparently a kill card for being crushed by debris, and you can throw out a quick thank you to medic players and squad mates after being revived by toggling a button in a new prompt window that comes up. This next change is super important, people, for those of you that care about immersion, of course. Those of you that played the Battlefield 6 beta will know medic crates and supply crates had this green circle that appeared on the ground and on walls. This has since been removed from the game and replaced with an icon at the bottom of the screen that tells you when you are within effective resupply distance. And last in this list of things Catwoman provided us, apparently there have been big changes made to spotting. So if you spot an enemy player by just hitting your Q key or whatever it is on console, there is now a bracket that appears for a very short time on your screen that indicates that this player is now spotted and your team can see them. Apparently, manual spotting has had a cooldown tweak to prevent it from being spammed with the spot button. So, great spotting changes. On top of the fact, they also changed the fact that the spot symbol is different. So, there will now be a hollow spot symbol for passive spotting, I believe, and a filled-in spot symbol for true 3D spotting readability. Another really cool change is the fact that DICE, based on community feedback, has added a small spark effect to the defibrillator to indicate whether or not you've revived a teammate or killed an enemy player. I suppose this helps differentiate the actions. Small change, but welcome. And last but certainly not least, and arguably the most important thing mentioned in this video in terms of Battlefield 6's gameplay, DICE has internally fixed the sway/dispersion weapon bug. In the open beta, this was triggered by any small jump when going over edges, windowsills, rocks, whatever it may be. This caused the weapon's wobble/sway to be unbelievably exaggerated, and this has since been fixed, which is of course a massively welcome change. However, as stated multiple times over multiple different videos, they gotta dial in the feel of that sway. It's a very delicate situation. So, if you enjoy the videos and you find them informative, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Of course, swing by stream. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. First link in the description. And let me know if you have a term for electrocuting mortar players. That is potentially the most important thing that could come out of this video. Alright, I'll see you guys later.